I'm Nikki Woods, and welcome to the Level Up Podcast. This is where smart, successful, intuitive women like you get to enjoy candid conversations that I share with leading experts, celebrities, and influencers. They are here to help you and me transform in every area of our lives. We're going to learn, laugh, maybe cry, but definitely grow together. So whether it's health, wealth, healing, relationships, or any other uplifting topic, Level Up is laser focused on you leading your best life on your terms and inspiring other powerful women to do the same. So, are you ready to level up? All right, let's do it. Hello and welcome to Level Up with Nikki Woods. Today we are going to be talking about meditation and mindfulness, especially in this world that we're in and how much it's needed now. Mindfulness is really just the act of being attentive to yourself. I mean, there's so much noise, and it really is, I think, necessary to sometimes take a moment to tune everything around you out and tune into yourself, which is not always easy, especially in this, pandemic that we're in. It did slow things down, in some regards, especially for me. But I think it also brought on an added level of heaviness where we had to find different tools and skills in order to stay healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy. And I think when I say this to other people, mindfulness, meditation, scripting, visualization, whatever you do that is your tool to help you stay sane. Some people think it's a production and that it's going to take this really long time, and it's not. It really only takes a moment. And so I think if you take the whole production aspect out of it, or that you have to have a set routine and it's going to take so much time, you'll really understand that this only takes a moment. And there's so many different benefits. So mindful practice, it gives us an opportunity to rest, much like exercising. We have to give muscles a time to recover so that we can grow stronger. And that's the same thing with mindfulness. It's resting and giving ourselves an opportunity to grow and be stronger. Also with relationships, whether they're personal, whether they're familial, whether they're professional, it sometimes just is a matter of paying attention to our feelings and where we are with things so that they're harmonious. When you take a moment to be more mindful, we make ourselves a priority. We build a relationship with ourselves, and that just translates to every other relationship that we have in our life. The other thing that mindfulness and one of the great ways, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, that I continue to be mindful is through meditation. Sometimes we don't really regard ourselves very highly, and we'll do different things in order to get in our own way, like self-sabotage. And so mindfulness and meditation, as I said, is my main tool, is a chance to give ourselves the respect, the love, the compassion that we need. And so therefore, we're able to vibrate higher, we radiate that light and confidence, and life just gets a little bit easier. The other thing, the hustle and bustle of the grind culture that we're in, it's left us off balance. And so pulling away from the busyness of the world, where we're really able to sit with ourselves and be grounded. Sometimes, they'll tell you to feel like you have an anchor coming out of your tailbone or through your feet. This is one of the reasons that they say go stand in the grass with barefoots, because it helps us to grow roots and to be tethered and grounded. And so practicing mindfulness allows us to become more sure of ourselves and our needs, and it just makes you so much more balanced. The other thing is just slowing down the busyness, being quiet, practicing mindfulness. It really keeps us healthy. When we never rest, you become sick. When you're grinding away, it's always, or mostly always, in pursuit of someone else's goal. But it's still stressful on our bodies. It's stressful on our minds. And so resisting that urge to just be busy all the time and to slow things down and to go into yourself and just to rejuvenate through mindfulness is really the key, I think, to thriving in life. And so now let's get to the conversation where I talk to a good friend who is now certified in meditation. All right, so today we are talking all about meditation, and I have an expert here, newly certified and ready to help us work through the process. Leah Frazier is a 2-time Emmy Award-winning, just a lot of awards, my goodness. Best-selling author, named one of the top 50 leaders in innovation for Dallas-Fort Worth. She was recently named as one of the top 10 inspiring Black women in marketing and communications to follow in the U.S. She's an attorney turned media guru through her company, Think3 Media, which provides marketing and communication services for innovative small businesses and brands. But today we are going to be Zen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. With all of that, you can see why I needed to be a little
Well, you need to be Zen, right? The lawyer alone was the reason to be Zen. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you've transitioned now to this point.
Yeah, so went to law school and took the bar in Texas and thought this was going to be my life. And then also we had my law firm had an office in California. So I went ahead and took that bar exam too and thought I was going to move. And it just didn't quite work out like that. I dibbled and dabbled and had a personal shopping business on the side for women, did fashion for a little bit. And that was when like that whole blogger boom happened where you could write on a website. And I was like, oh, I like this writing thing. So maybe I'll try a little fashion journalism. And it just kind of took off and I couldn't control it anymore because I was doing fashion segments on TV and going to the law firm during the day. And then I was going to New York Fashion Week and it just kind of stemmed into this, let me just see where this career goes. And now it's funneled to where I started off teaching those social media concepts and doing brand journalism and that for fashion brands and beauty brands. And then I was like, why don't I just open my own agency and help more businesses in that light? And I ended up leaving law in order to help other small businesses learn kind of what I learned over all these years.
Right. And you've been, you've been a model, you do model, you've been in commercials, and I saw you, was it Target that I saw you in a commercial for Target?
JC
Penny. I was like, that's Leah. Look at Leah. Very good. Very good. And there's something to be said for saying yes, even if the opportunity doesn't seem like it's like this forever thing. Like you saw something you were interested in, you were like, yes, and then it just led you on this path.
Yeah, I think at first I was scared because people are like, what are you doing?
You left a good job.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of having fun. So there was like this happiness and joy attached to it that I wasn't really getting in law. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this out. And then when the modeling thing happened, I was doing like we're doing, just speaking. I was on a stage and just so happened the scout for JCPenney was in the audience. And she came up to me afterwards and was like, your hair type, your height, your body type, this is everything we're looking for. Have you ever modeled? And I'm like, outside of Instagram? No. And I literally was signed with the agency in 2 days and booked for a national campaign in a month.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I love what you said about like having fun and being excited. I tell people, like, if it doesn't light me up, like I don't want any part of it. I will be so quick to close something down. I don't care because I am not going to be miserable every single day. I don't understand how people can go to a job or now stay at home and work and not like what they do every single day.
I think it's fear.
So, absolutely. It's fear. Absolutely.
It's fear of the unknown. And I had that same fear, but I think I prioritize myself and my happiness more than being comfortable and being unhappy. And then once I figured out like, hey, it's not so bad here on the other side, when all the crazy stuff started happening that didn't make sense to everybody else, I knew something cool was going to be on the other side. So I just kept saying yes, if it resonated with me. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. And that's just how I live my life.
And so let's talk about what led you to I'm sure you've meditated before, but now you are certified, you can help other people. I mean, you are a professional. So what led you to taking that step?
I think the pandemic in and of itself and being in isolation. So I'm single, I have my dog, my family's scattered all over the US, and I'm a tad bit introverted. So I went into it like, great, I don't have to go out anymore. I don't have to do all these things. And about that 6 month, I was like, something is wrong with me. Like, I'm not okay and I don't know what it is. And I'm talking to family and that's not doing it. I'm going outside, that's not doing it. And I realized that the isolation was really playing, like it was playing a part on like my brain and my mental health. And so I started going to a wellness studio and I started learning how to meditate in a different type of way and to do it daily. And I just so many things came to me like focus and clarity, and I found myself being more calm and able to make better decisions. And when I did that, I was like, man, I want to learn how to do this, but I want to teach other people because there's other people suffering right now that don't have this as an outlet. And so that's when I decided to go ahead and get certified so I can actually teach other people how to do it.
Yeah, in a year, I've had 4 friends commit suicide.
Oh, Nikki.
4 friends.
Yeah.
And it's the same situation. I mean, it's a lot of them were single and, you know, they didn't have kids. And it just, they were just isolated. And I'm like you, I mean, I'm introverted too. I think we've both probably had to learn to be extroverted just because of what we do. But I was like you, cool. Like I can do this. Like this, I was born for this, right? And then 2, like at 6 months, I was just sad. I was just sad. It was heavy. It's like, it was too much. And I also started to look for tools, and meditation was certainly one of them. I mean, I'd heard about meditation. I never really took it seriously. It's like kind of something I did before I went to sleep, and but never like a meditation practice per se. But it certainly changed things for me and kind of has sent me down this path. I think I always realized how important mindset was and how, you know, important it was for you to be in tune with who you are and what's going on, and really, but this whole slowdown, because I think busyness is a way that we distract ourselves from a lot. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I felt like I was just piling on things to cover up how I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Piling on things so that I didn't have to face myself. You know, I'm normally that happy-go-lucky, positive, bubbly person, but I didn't want to face the fact that something was wrong. So it's like, maybe take on another client, take on another project, Leah, or, you know, start a new project. And I was finding like, well, that's actually kind of making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really going on here? I've always been an active journalist too, like journaling my thoughts and my feelings, but doing it alongside the meditation practice really like unveiled a lot of how I viewed myself, how I viewed the times we are in, what's really wrong with me in certain parts of my body. Like it's just been life-changing, absolutely life-changing.
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's interesting because I think when people, you know, they hear this and they think that you've gotten into this, you know, you're a yogi or you meditate daily, that your problems go away. And that's just not true. It's like when your problems go away, you are probably dead, right? But it does give you the tools to help you work through it. And I certainly can tell now, like, you know, because, you know, there's moments where I'm just like, I feel that heaviness kind of setting in again. And then you go right into some of those tools that you know are going to turn it around. And it just shortens the time. And it keeps everything in perspective. And I think the other thing that I learned that we were talking about and somebody told me, and they're like, you have got to figure out like what that feeling is trying to teach you. Like it's either trying to protect you or warn you, but it's trying to teach you something. And the meditation to me allows me to tune in and try to figure out what that feeling is about and, you know, what I need to change.
It's so true. And it could be something as simple as, you know, how sometimes we say, like, I don't know really what it is about that person, but when I'm around them, my energy just kind of changes. When you notice that, just taking maybe a minute to see like, where am I feeling something in my body? Do I feel myself closing up? You know, does my throat start to tighten? Like, how does this person make me feel? Because that's an energy shift, and that could also be causing you to feel a little bit worse than maybe you should. And so sometimes people think meditation is like this Buddhist, you know, or meditation could just be, I'm going to go outside and take a 10-minute walk and leave my phone. And I'm just going to, observe nature and love nature for what it is and feel the wind in my hair and actually view it for what it is. That's a form of meditation. It doesn't have to be this, I got to go to the mountain and get this revelation and sit in this lotus pose and om.
For
No,
hours.
that's not.
For hours.
No, that's not what it is. It is, but it's not what it has to be for you.
For you. And I'm so glad that you're pointing that out, because I think that we do see the way that it's, I guess, traditionally been done, or the images, or the, that's been presented to us. And, because I fell asleep, I think the first time I actually did like a guided meditation, and I was so embarrassed. And they were like, oh, everybody falls asleep. I was like, okay, as long as it's not just me. But it isn't something I think that you naturally just get. And until you know that you can make it work for you, however it works for you, I think a lot of people stay away from it. What in your training and what you have learned, let's share some of the benefits of meditation and how it does help.
Yeah. So once you get into it, and I'll be honest, I started out with like 3-minute meditations, and then 15, 20, 30, and then up to an hour. But if you could just sit down 15, 30 minutes a day, it reduces your stress and your anxiety levels drastically. So there have been studies that have been done where it's like, here's this group of people that didn't meditate. We monitored their brain waves and what was causing them to be stressed out. And then here's the people that we said, can you jot down, and we monitor your activity for 30 days straight, 30 minutes per day. And their stress levels and depression significantly decreased. Even if you just work on your breath. So something is stressing you out, stop everything, just breathe in for 3 seconds and try to hold it, and then just give it one big exhale. That sends a signal to your brain to calm down.
Yeah.
So if you can just set aside, just start off with like 10 or 15 minutes a day, you will, trust me, you will feel a lot calmer and have a little bit more, you'll be a little bit more settled in your body.
Yeah, when I was in therapy a while ago, the therapist would tell me, she's like, if it ever gets to the point where you're just like freaking out, she's like, go take a nap. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to go take a nap. She's like, trust me, you'll be able to take a nap. But she's like, that will just stop everything. And then you'll be able to reset in your body. And when you get up, you'll be able to look at it from a different perspective. And because my brain goes like, I'm at the end of the world, like in 5 seconds, And so it's important that I'm able to slow it down, because it just goes crazy. And then that momentum just keeps building. So I'm just thankful that, there's people out here that are really going to show people that meditation can be a natural part of your life. You don't have to do it at 4 a.m. every morning. I mean, you can make it really what it is and what works for you.
Yeah, you could just be in your car and say, you know what, at this point in time, I'm going to set all things aside and just really just be mindful of just kind of being in the moment and enjoying my drive wherever it's going, not getting pissed off at traffic, just calming down and just letting things be as they are. And I know that sounds crazy depending on where you live. So I would have a hard time saying this to people in LA, because I live there. I know what it's like. You know what I mean? But you have to find these little moments in your life where you kind of realize that there's so much more to the little things we get upset about. And if we can just compartmentalize them and say, in the grand scheme of things, let's just say in my instance, sometimes my clients upset me. Like, okay, Leah, it's this one little speck in your day. So can we just put this in this file and then just return back to all the things that make you happy? Then you can kind of, not get so freaked out and stressed out all the time. And so I'm very aware of that. I work on that every day.
Oh no, and no, you're right, because I'm the kind of person where I am like at zero for a very long time. But when that moment hits, I'm like at 150 really quick, and nobody sees it coming. I don't even see it coming most of the time. And I remember one time my son said to me, he said, Mom, we have to figure out what's going on underneath this. He's like, because this can't be about what you think this is about or what you're saying this is about. And he was so right. I actually did a little bit of training or coursework in human design. I don't know if you've done anything with that. But it really works on like what your energy type is, and it gives you a better understanding of why you react or feel certain ways about certain things. And I found out that I'm a responder, which means that I'm supposed to wait and then respond. I'm not supposed to really initiate a lot. And so a lot of the times when I get really, really upset, it's because somebody has put me on the spot and wants an answer like right now, and I don't have time. I can't do it. And so it gets so frustrating to me. And so it's like all of this stuff just starts to go and work together. You hear about affirmations and setting intentions and journaling, and all of these are just tools in order to help keep you at a point emotionally, spiritually, and mentally where you can deal with situations like COVID and you can figure your life out in a different way.
Yeah, and to your point, sometimes people hear a lot of these things. It's like, I don't know where to start.
It does go whooshy whooshy. It does. It really it does.
Really, and it sounds really woo-woo.
Yeah.
I get it. There are a lot of woo-woo people out there, but you just do what works best for you. But I will say that I believe that everybody should, in some form, do some sort of active journaling, just so you can see where you were based on, how you're progressing. Otherwise, there's nothing to really measure how it's working for you. You don't want to keep doing the same thing and you realize like, okay, I still feel like crap, or this isn't helping me. So incorporating that active journaling into your, however you meditate, whatever that practice is, how did it make you feel? What were some of the things that maybe you're taking a walk? What were some of the things that came up in that walk? What did you notice? Writing those things down so that as time kind of goes on a little bit further, you do realize that this is something that you want to keep in your life and that you're actually getting better.
I'll tell you what, I have like 200 journals in my garage. Like I am a journal. I've been a journaler since I could write. Because I love writing. But the thing that changed journaling for me was, as you said, like having active journaling. So not just kind of writing like this stream of consciousness, but really having a focus has done wonders for me in understanding why things feel the way that they do to me. And a lot of it has to do with how I feel about myself and self-worth. And I didn't realize like that I had so many triggers. And it's like, and I started hearing like the individual voice, like I could hear my father, and then I could hear my grandfather. You can hear all of the little boy in 5th grade that told me, my nose was ugly. You can hear all these voices and you can start to separate them and then rework them.
Yeah.
And it's been brilliant. It has been so brilliant. But I think like how long it would have taken me to get to this if COVID hadn't happened. Because I would have still been busy, like rushing through things and not realizing that I still had trauma from 20 years ago that I thought the therapy had worked out, and it just hadn't.
I was doing therapy as well. And I'm with you. I was like, man, I had to get to this point to get there? And clearly I did. And I'm like you, I was reading a book called The Untethered Soul. And it was at that point so I would read it a chapter at a time and really let it marinate. Cause I'm like, whoa, this is some deep stuff. And there's the one chapter when you're first getting into it, where it's like, you have a belief and ask yourself why. Okay. And then once you tell yourself, well, I believe that, I'm supposed to be busy, busy, busy. Well, why is that? Because if I'm busy, 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 then I'll make the type of money that I'm supposed to make. Well, why is that? And then when you keep asking yourself why, you literally go all the way back to childhood and your relationship with family. And it's just this whole psychological process where it's like you said, I've got a lot of trauma I've got to undo. And it's just very telling.
No, it's funny because my dad used to tell me, used to fuss all the time because, I worked in TV and radio. So literally I would like work 4 hours, 5 hours a day some days. And my dad was like, you need to get a real job. I'm like, Daddy, I make 3 times with you. Man, you need to get a real job. But he was just like, that can't be full time because you're not working. And that cemented itself. And like, I went and got another, something else to do because I felt that I'm like, what am I doing here? And so you really do have to ask yourself. And I love that whole why thing. You just keep asking why, and you will get the answer. And a lot of times because there's so many voices in your head, you have to be in some kind of a meditative state to hear it. To hear it. And I tell you, it's so weird. The first time you're like, but you can hear it so clearly. And then you start to get answers from whatever you believe in, whatever your spirit, whatever, from the divine, from the universe, from God, from whatever. You start to get those high level responses about what you should be doing, or what's your next step. Because I think so many people right now are at the crossroads. Either they've lost their jobs, they've lost their homes, they've had to get another job. It's just so much, I think, confusion and people just up in the air about what they should be doing next. And so I agree. I love that why thing. That's a great idea.
And and again, just write it down in your journal. Don't have to really go deep, but it will tell you a lot about your beliefs and why you believe what you believe. And I'm with you. I ended up launching a course during COVID because a lot of my clients were like, I don't know if I can pay you right now because I don't know where the money's coming from. All right, well,
we all went through that, right?
I was like, oh, really? First, I was like, yay, I can get some rest. And then a part of me was like, let me offer something so you guys can have something to help your business. And I launched a course. And when it first launched, it was all these people paid for it. And I was like you, where I said, no. I'd have to do more than this to make this type of money. Like that was way too easy. And I had to sit myself down and say, well, why would you think that? Why would you have to kill yourself to make that? Why can't it be that easy? And that's just it's a really daunting thing to accept. It really is.
Well, because there's so many things that you just accept as truth. I mean, I know people that believe you don't have to have a job to make money or to receive money. And it works for them, but that's because their belief system is different. So many of us feel that we have got to have not just a business, but a job. That's the only reliable way for us to get paid. And so you do start to question like all of these things, like, just about like, why do I need a house? Like, can I live in an RV and try? I mean, it's like, we just take what everybody says is normal and what you should be doing. And whenever, that shouldn't happens, that's when you really should start asking questions. And we just accept it as fact. We just accept it as our truth, and we never ask any questions. So asking questions is going to give you some answers that are probably really going to surprise you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because anybody just starting your journey and you're feeling like it's a bunch of woo-woo stuff, that's fine. Just sit your butt down somewhere and start your meditation practice by just closing your eyes and going within and just fixating on maybe there is a question that you want and asking yourself, well, why? And seeing what trail it kind of leads you down, and you may come up with your answer. So it doesn't have to be what society has made it to be.
No, and I think people should know that it may not even feel comfortable the first time, because it's something new that you're learning. And so, the heavens are not going to open up necessarily, like the light, is not going to come down, and, and all of that. You hear, that's not necessarily going to happen for everybody. But if you stick with it, you will start to get those, answers and those, discoveries and the awakening and all of that. I mean, it's really just magical. When I saw that you were I was like, okay. So for those people who do want to start and may need some guidance, how are you helping people at this point?
So at this point, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I always guide people to a wellness studio called Breathe. Mm-hmm. And so you can have guided meditation with teachers such as myself, or there's others who are just phenomenal. Or there's online, so you can go to breathemeditationandwellness.com and you can take virtual meditation sessions to get you comfortable. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, my favorite apps are Headspace, where they'll start you off with 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute in the car, or on your phone. And I didn't even know this, on my Apple phone, it's called Insight Timer. Mm-hmm. And on Insight Timer, there's a ton of guided meditations there. My favorite are the ones that put you to sleep. So there's some great deep sleep meditations in there. And I promise you, I'll get the best sleep of my life. I do. I log in with people from all over the world and they get really like, they play the music and
Mhm.
it's kind of comforting to know I'm getting a deep sleep with all these other people from around the world. So it's really
Wow.
cool.
That's
So,
awesome. I just want to mention another app that was actually founded and developed by a Black woman. It's called Exhale. So breathe. It's called Exhale, and she was nominated for I guess she was nominated for a Webby Award for her app. Yeah. So it really is a very cool app. She did it all herself. It's absolutely free. So if you get a chance, check out all of those tools that will help you. You can get with Leah anytime. I'm sure she will answer all your questions. Her website, well, not all of them, but her website is leahfrazier.com. She is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Leah Frazier. Leah, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to come check out one of your classes. I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
thanks, Nikki. Yes, I will definitely have to have you. We'll have to have you at the studio.
Yeah, let me know. I would love it. And I thank you for taking the time to do this. This is going to help a lot of people.
No, thank you for having me.
That was great.
That is so much fun.
I wasn't going to say this, but I have been like looking at all sorts, like I was looking at like energy work and light work.
Me too.
Yeah. And I just,
Reiki after this, I'm going to go get my Reiki certification.
and it all just ties together, doesn't it? I mean, it all just starts to make sense. When I heard that human design thing, because I was like at a place in business where I didn't want to call anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to post anything. And she's like, that's because you're supposed to, you're a responder. You're not an initiator. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. And so she gave me a different way to do things that just feels so much better to me. And it was just, I was like, wow, this is interesting. So hate that COVID happened, but it definitely changed my life.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about your friends. I was talking to the lady that owns the wellness studio, and she said that there was a mom and her son that had just came in, and they were coming for a week or so, and the lady finally said, "Thank you so much. This has just been a breath of fresh air, and we're so relieved because the dad had just committed suicide." And so she was bringing her son in and she was coming and they were just trying to release a lot. And she said, "Leah, I've never cried." And I just bawled my eyes out because people are just going through so much.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I just appreciate when people step forward to help other people, because this is not something that we're going to be able to do in a vacuum. It's just not.
I'm glad you brought up the Black women thing too, because I was like, I'm really kind of doing it for us.
Yeah.
I learned that a lot of the practices originated from Africa. I was hella pissed because I was like, well, they don't teach you that. They make you think it's coming from India, or they're making you think that it's coming from everywhere else. They're not telling you that a lot of these different methods came from our culture, our people, our ancestors.
Yeah, I actually started putting together this event, and I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but it's going to be Goddess something. Yeah. I just want to introduce people to all of these different things. It's like I'm a part of this Facebook group, and we did this whole self-care thing. And she's like, go buy you a crown. And I'm like, I'm not buying me a crown. So she's like, but I went and bought me a crown. And we went through this whole thing. It was so simple, but you just feel when you start to really understand how your worth, and that it's just there and nothing can mess with it no matter what happens, it just changes how you show up.
Yeah.
It just changes how you show up.
There's so many women that need it. So definitely, I think you should definitely do it.
Well, I'll let you know, because I don't have anybody in the meditation space yet.
I'm excited. And as soon as I get this Reiki and I can teach people how to heal themselves, that's going to be a game changer. So excited.
And I love that, because so many people, I think, get this and then they don't share it. They just do the work on people, like the light work or the energy work, but they don't teach people that they can do it for themselves.
No, you can, like, I literally witnessed some stuff where the scientific part of our energy centers finally made sense to me. I was like, you could tell me all day I have a crown chakra and a root chakra and a heart chakra, and they spin this way, but I scientifically actually saw it on when we did a pendulum on this woman's body who was just blocked, and to see the pendulum not moving, and then when it moved over certain chakras, to see it actually spin in the way we scientifically was taught, I was like, this shit is real.
It is. I'm telling you.
Mind. I was like, this is so real. And people
Yeah.
no, or they're afraid. Oh, so
Well, I will let you know. I'm still trying to watch and see what everything, what all is happening, but I want to have it in Jamaica, probably around October or November.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just watching the travel stuff. So we will stay in touch. I'm so glad that you decided to do this and hang out, and I'm just happy.
I'm grateful for you, Nikki. And I'm going to send you info. I want you on my podcast.
Okay.
Tell these small business owners how annoying they are.
I get the question, can I get on CNN? No, not.
Oh, yeah. You can talk about whatever. Please.
Oh, my gosh, no.
Why do you think Oprah?
You can't get on a podcast yet, but you want to go on CNN? No.
Oprah just did Meghan Markle. Like, why do you think you're even in this? Okay. Delusions of grandeur.
All right, honey. I'm going to let you go. But we'll
catch up you later.
All right, bye. I think I need to go meditate right now. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of Level Up. I am your host, Nikki Woods, and I hope you found something that will inspire you, empower you, help you to slow down, anything that is going to help you level up in all areas of your life. So do me a favor, be sure to subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts while you're there. Also, please subscribe, rate, comment, and then share it with your friends. Share it with the world. You can also connect with me at The Nikki Woods on Facebook. Then on Twitter and Instagram, it's Nikki Woods. Also, you visit the website. Also, please visit the website, levelupwithnikkywoods.com. I have a free gift with your name on it. So go grab that. I thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.